welcome back to the next episode of the Forging Excellence Show. I'm Christine Kawai. He is Mark Smith. Mark, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm glad you always remind me of who I am.
All right.
It's
What?
this
Some
guy.
days though, I think that reminder is necessary. So, how
It
have you
might
been?
be.
Have you been sneaking any golf in these cold? No, I guess now February. Crazy to
Yes.
think.
Well, I'll tell you what, I get really excited when we see Rory over at Pebble winning that with a hole in one. Shane Lowry gets his hole in one. I go out with some buddies of mine and we decide, hey, let's go and play a little golf, right? So we're at the golf simulators and I'm sitting there hitting them. And it's always like when you do it, you're like, man, I want to be better. I gotta be better. I want to be faster, stronger, more limber. So anyway, we're not. We haven't been in years, right? All of us guys, 40 and over, you tend to go, I'd love to be. I'm just not. And so that's why I'm excited about who we have today. We're bringing in a TPI golf fitness professional. As a matter of fact, this woman was the Golf Fitness Association of America, she won this prestigious Best Golf Fitness Program Award. And so we're really excited to have Carrie O'Rourke joining us today. So Carrie, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Applause, applause. Yay.
Woo!
Should we do a golf clap?
Oh,
So yeah, Carrie, we're excited to have you because we've got a bunch of us. We play in a league on Fridays, right when the weather's nice. All of us look awesome at the tee. You would assume we're all professionals. Then you see us drive the ball, getting a max of like 220. And we're like, we need Carrie. We need Carrie bad.
So, Carrie, what for everyone who may not be familiar with you, what is it that you do?
Sure. Thanks for asking. I'm a golf fitness professional, and that is a relatively new concept in the world of golf. So, as golfers, you know that you can go to your swing coach to learn your swing mechanics, and you can go to a fitter to get properly fitted clubs. But the piece of the equation that's missing for a lot of golfers, especially as we get older, is the ability to even be able to move your body in the correct ways for golf. So, as Mark mentioned, they're looking good. They've got the nice clothes. They've got their clubs all nice and shiny. They've got the afternoon off from their wife. They show up to the first tee. They take that big giant swing and it's a total flop because they're like, oh, my back hurts. I can barely bend over to put the tee in the ground. I can't get a full swing anymore. I don't feel the same way as I used to. And that's when the golf fitness comes into place for ourselves as we get older so that you can actually rev up your engine to swing the club and get the consistency and distance that you really know is inside of you.
Oh my God. Carrie, here's what I'm going to tell you. We've got 28, 32 of us, whatever, that play in this league. I don't want to set you up for failure, but the way you just described it is every single person.
Well, it is every single person that's out there, whether you're younger or older. There's different aspects that you're trying to work on to create power. Younger golfers are wanting to get in the gym and really pump up the iron. But as time goes on, it doesn't matter how much you can bench press if you can't actually move.
Right. And you look at it. I mean, we've got a couple of young guys who are out there. They're flexible as can be. Their club head speed's incredible. And then you get those that have, celebrated their 40th birthday many years ago. And, we think we can just step out from sitting in a chair for 10 hours working, just drive out to the course and we're good to go. But it's not working. It's not working. So, so what do we do?
You. And life gets in the way, of course. And there's going to be days when you're speeding up at the last minute into the parking lot, changing your shoes as you're hopping to the first tee and trying to drive just as good with no warm up as you may be doing when you get to the third or fourth hole. Yeah. But when you are properly conditioned on a regular basis, it doesn't take a lot of time on those days when you're showing up at the last minute because your kid had a soccer game and you're really trying to make it to the course. You don't have to have missed shots if you're properly primed and ready to go in a consistent manner.
So, Carrie, I know that, so growing up, I was a swimmer. That was my sport of choice. And I think we all have our, kind of origin stories when it comes to whether it's the sports we like to play or even getting into something as a career. So what's your story with how you started to do what you're doing now?
Well, I actually was a civil engineer by trade originally, not in the golf world at all. And then when I had babies, I became a stay-at-home mom. So I think a lot of the moms and dads that are listening can relate to that. And I started wondering, like, what can I do with myself now that I've got these little kids at home? I didn't want to go back to engineering full time. So I became certified as a personal trainer. I'd always been active and fit and health and into health. And I was a general fitness personal trainer for a long time until my sons became high level golfers. So we're talking, they were 13, 14, 15. My youngest son at age 13 won the Michigan Junior Player of the Year. My older son starting to recruit for college. So my older son, Max, was at a golf lesson with a swing coach, and I was sitting there watching because I had to drive him around as a parent, and the coach was telling him he didn't have enough rotation. He's just a kid who's really stiff. He's strong but stiff. And he looked at me, he's like, "Hey mom, you're a personal trainer, you can fix his golf swing, can't you?" And in that moment I thought, I have no idea how to do that. I'm a personal trainer and I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And that's when I decided to become certified as a TPI golf fitness professional. So my kids essentially got me into this, and they both became college golfers. And then I realized that my clientele is an older person for golf fitness, and transitioned into running around from country club to helping golfers, and now into this online format where I can help golfers all over the world with my exact same programming.
I love that. I truly love that it started with a, "Hey mom, you can fix this, right?" Absolutely.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Your kids kind of force your hand sometimes where you're like, I know I can do it. I've got the ability to do this, right? Let's figure it out. So sometimes through necessity comes innovation. And that's what
That's
it was.
100% true. And it also demonstrates that the fitness trainer down the street at your powerhouse gym probably doesn't know how to fix your golf swing, and they're going to go home and Google golf exercises and then come and tell you. So if you're really serious about golf, you want to get someone who is TPI certified.
Yeah.
Now, when you mentioned primed and ready to go, is there, of course, everyone's going to be different and unique with what will benefit them the most, but is there any like one thing in particular that you kind of think if everyone could just do this one thing, it might be a little bit better, a little bit easier for them?
I'm going to answer that question. It's not going to be super easy, but the one thing that every golfer should do is actually evaluate what their mobility is and where their restrictions are, because you don't know until you actually test it out. And through TPI, they have a great basic evaluation where you test your flexibility and mobility directly as it relates to the swing. So to answer that question, I want all golfers to do that so they know what their one thing is that they have to do, because it's a little bit different for everybody.
And how do we do that? Is that an online thing, or do we go somewhere?
Well, I offer it online, so
Good.
different options for it, but I've created a seamless process that can be done efficiently and quickly online, so you don't have to search around for somebody, and you actually have access to an award-winning coach without having one that's within 3 miles of your home. Right. But on that note, I know I can't wait to see you guys in Lapeer to actually have some opportunities for in-person training. But I do work with golfers all over the United States as well as Canada and Europe who now have access to me in this online way. So I can definitely do that evaluation regardless of geography and distance.
I love it. And what's kind of your sweet spot for the age that you typically work with?
I work with golfers that are 45 and older. Majority of my golfers are 50s, 60s. I've worked with my oldest golfer was 83. Currently, my oldest golfer is 79. Sometimes guys a little bit under 45 who have the recognition that their flexibility is lacking, but I would say typically 50s and 60s.
Wow. And then, so if we're online, we're working with you. How do we go about doing this? Like, do I have a camera in front of me and you're kind of looking at my mobility?
That's a good question, because it's even simpler than that. My program is actually video based, and then we have options to touch base face to face in Zoom meetings, group coaching calls, digital check-ins. So we're using the advanced technology with our old school sport of golf.
Right.
Yeah, and then so Carrie, fun thing about me. So the first time I ever golfed was with Mark and my sister and her boyfriend. Was that last summer or the summer before?
Summer before, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm very green. It's funny. My sister, she just got her first hole in one last summer. So needless to say, she's a little bit better. But it was so funny, even though it was my first time. Of course, Mark's going to be encouraging, but I think that competitiveness is just pumping through his veins, no matter no matter what he's doing. And he might be a little bit older than I am, but is there anything within your training that can kind of help people keep that competitive edge?
Absolutely. So golf is a place where you can find your peace, but it's also a place to quench your competitive spirit, depending on the day, right? So you may be going to the golf course after a hard day at work just to relax, or you may be going with your friends because you want to smoke them and you want to win skins in the bingo, bango, bongo. But being able to stay competitive means checking all the boxes in your golf preparation. And I know that you've taken lessons and I know that you've got clubs. I want you to make sure your body is ready to do that. And it helps you build the confidence that you need on the golf course. So when you can create a consistent swing through maintaining your flexibility and your rotation and your distance, that's going to definitely give you the competitive edge. But also when you step up to that first tee, you know you've done everything to prepare on those days when the golf course throws something at you, the wind's going in a different direction,
Mm-hmm.
you're having an argument with your wife, whatever the case may be, you're mentally prepared to play because your physical and mental side go hand in hand.
I love that. Yeah. And we've got two. We've got a couple of guys that lack that power, lack the flexibility, right? And have gone from playing the back tees to more of like the middle tees. Is that something that your program helps out with a little bit as well?
Oh, my golfers do not like to take the walk of shame to the forward tees.
Yeah.
I don't care how old they are. The golfers that want that competitive edge don't want that forward tee.
Yeah.
And the PGA actually says that it's not defined by age, what tee you play by, but played by ability. So female golfers can play on different tees. You don't have to play on the women's golf tees. So maintaining your consistency, your flexibility, your engine that's powering that golf swing is going to allow you to stay at your competitive tees. So you're not the one guy that all the carts have to pull up and stop and wait for you to hit.
Exactly right. And we hear too, Carrie, we always hear like, I'd like to add 10 miles per hour to my swing, or I got to get more power. Is that something we can really work on throughout the season?
Sure. So the definition of power is speed times strength. But before you even work on your speed or your strength, you have to have the mobility that can support that. So I actually have a golfer right now who came to me who's doing speed sticks and stack training and all these things.
Yeah.
But he's realizing because of some lower back pains and aches and pains that he's really unable to even do this training yet. And this is a guy who ranges from a plus 0.6 to a 2 handicap. This is a good golfer.
Wow.
So he's recognizing that he needs to take a step back on his flexibility and mobility. So once you've got that intact, you're actually able to create the rotation that's needed. Then we want to step up to speed and strength. So you can work on your speed just by moving your body faster with golf-specific exercises that are short, fun, fast, and are making sure your body can still move fast. Because if your body can't move fast, there's no way that club is moving fast.
Spot on. Yeah. Well, we've got, I'm sure, people watching right now, right? People that are in our league. So, and Christine, I'm not the oldest guy.
I just said older than me. That's
All right. But yeah, so some might be older than me somehow. But Carrie, how do they get a hold of you? How do they, if everybody's like, I'm in, let's go.
Let's go. Oh
Let's go.
gosh. Well, I'm all over social media, but my Facebook and website is Core Golf Fitness, CORGOLF So Core being COR. Absolutely. You can, there's multiple ways to message me there. It's pretty easy to get a hold of me.
Yeah. And you're all over Instagram. Like I can see you,
Instagram,
you're online
Facebook.
everywhere.
Yes.
That's
And
awesome.
then are you able to work with those? So just thinking of flexibility, mobility, if someone has had a previous injury, whether it's their hip, their knee, I think of people in my own family, we have a few replacements of both parts in there. Is there a way that you're able to cater building that strength and flexibility, knowing that there might be a limitation like that in place?
That's a really great question because as you can imagine, with the demographics that I work with, golfers who are 50s, 60s, 70s, more than half of them have had some type of hip replacement, shoulder surgery, back pain. So that's fairly common. When you are working on your mobility, oftentimes that eliminates even the need for the chiropractors. Now, of course, if you've got medical grade issues and your doctor said you need surgery tomorrow, that's a different story. But I'm talking about the aches and pains that come from just regular life and getting older. But absolutely, after coming through any type of surgeries, you want to maintain your mobility and flexibility after going through physical therapy, because it's not enough just to go through physical therapy and be done. And I actually had a golfer, one of my most inspiring stories, who came to me immediately after he was released from physical therapy for a stroke. So he was an attorney, an active attorney, a 5 handicap, had a stroke in his late 50s, was in a wheelchair for 3 months, and was just, golf was his motivator to get back to life. And so physical therapy helped him start to get the movement back from the stroke, but it didn't help him get back to the golf course. So if somebody who had a stroke and was in a wheelchair for 3 months was able to work through that and get back to the golf course, didn't play as well as he did before, I can tell you that, but making his way through a whole round of golf was a gift for him at that point. So yes, shoulder surgeries, hip surgeries, knee issues, any sort of regular maintenance for those things versus just sitting on the couch all day and then stepping up to the tee and putting your body in these unnatural positions. When you swing a golf club, these are not the way our body is meant to move. So if you've already got an injury and you've already got some past history, and then you're trying to move your body in a completely inappropriate way, if you're not conditioned for that, it's going to create more pain.
Oh, yeah. You can totally see that. Holy cow. Carrie, let me ask you this. We got a lot of guys that, you get to be 40, 50 years old and you start doing the guys' trips and you are playing a lot of golf, right? Blisters on the hands. Mm-hmm. But a lot of guys might last the first day they play 18. Now we're playing 36 the next day. They're pooped out. They can't do it, let alone the next 36 and the final 18. Is there a way you can help them to have more stamina on the course?
Stamina is a huge piece of the puzzle that people forget about. Whether you're just walking 18 holes or, like you mentioned, on a dream golf trip to Scotland with your buddies and you're playing 6 rounds in 5 days. So we do want to look at some golf specific techniques that will help you maintain your energy, and also look at golf from a holistic point of view, including nutrition, refueling your body. So it's not just doing a few stretches, but again, maintaining and improving your flexibility, your nutrition, your water intake, all those things. So I get it. It's fun to be on that golf trip and drink a couple of shots and eat some hot dogs or sausages when you're in England. But you got to be able to also maintain that same level of performance throughout 4 to 5 days, because that's important to you. Like, you want to still beat your buddies on day 4 and 5, and it's won or lost in the last couple of days or last couple of holes. Yeah. So absolutely looking at all those other aspects of golf are going to help you create more fun on the golf course, golf longevity, and more endurance and energy when you are on that golf trip playing for multiple days in a row.
I love that. And just a little side note out of my own curiosity, and also so the listeners can get to know you a little bit better as well. Speaking of dream golf trips, if you could just snap your fingers and next week you are flying out to play any course, any location in the world, what do you think your dream trip would be?
I think everybody just wants to play in Scotland. My kids had the chance to play in Ireland a couple of years ago, so I saw the pictures because I wasn't with them, but such beautiful scenery and challenging courses for sure.
I love it. Oh my gosh. That'd be great to go out and, play the courses in Scotland where it all started, right? It'd be awesome. But yeah, I think when you look at that, that's another thing, right? You're battling the wind, the elements, the cold.
Just the flight over. That'll make you stiff.
No carts. There are no carts there. So no option. You better be able to walk it.
Good. All right. Hey, Carrie, we're ready. Tell us again too, where are we going to get started?
CoreGolfFitness.com.
Awesome. That is so cool. Carrie, appreciate you. This is awesome. It is so needed, especially, it's a little different than just going and seeing a swing coach, right? This is so different, so needed, and truly looking forward to it.
And how would you say you are specifically different than if someone's like, well, I have already had a swing coach. I've already taken some lessons. Like, why do I need you, Carrie?
You guys are hitting on all the correct questions. So there's 3 ways to get better at golf. And one is a swing coach. Absolutely, you need to be able to have correct swing mechanics. 2 is properly fitted equipment. So your clubs aren't too long, too short, your shafts are correct. But 3 is the fitness piece of that. And ideally, in the TPI framework, all of those professionals would be working together. So I actually do work with PGA professionals and swing coaches because they weren't taught the physical side of golf. They were taught how to have your grip, where to put your hands, where the swing plane is. your swing coach may look at you and say, hey, Mark, like you've got a terrible sway going on there.
Yep.
You need to make sure that you are rotating your hips more to eliminate that. But that swing coach can't tell you how to do that. They can only tell you that you need to do that. And so this is kind of putting all the pieces together for our best golfers. So whether you need a medical professional, a swing coach, a fitness coach, a golf fitter that are all TPI certified under the same umbrella, that's how we can work together to create our best golfers. And just as an analogy, let's look at doctors, right? So you're not going to go to your allergist to fix your heart issues. They're all doctors.
Right.
So we're all golf professionals with our own specialties.
I love that. And I like too that you had mentioned about nutrition. That is such a big thing. And for most people, here's what it is, right? You've got a long drink, whatever it might be at first tee, right? If we're doing the turn, we're grabbing something delicious and nutritious like a hot dog, maybe chips, right? And you start seeing the game go downhill. You start seeing these double bogeys, these, really poor performance. And people are like, well, I don't know what's going on. I think we kind of do, right?
Absolutely. The energy maintenance is a big key piece of that. So not only endurance, but nutrition and how to eat, when to eat, and what to eat.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great to see when you're watching the PGA, you can see, it used to be, remember watching like the PGA, you'd see guys out there that are like, like Statler, just, huge guys look like they never did a sit up in their life. Now you're seeing guys like Rory and Tiger and all these guys who look so fit out there, and you see them taking up like they've got their water, so they're keeping up their hydration, Cliff bars, bananas, whatever it might be, little bites along the way. You can tell they're really, not only paying attention to their swing coach, their fitness instructor, right, but actually paying attention to nutrition and everything. So you're right, this like array of doctors helping them to be their best.
Right. I mean, still want you to have fun.
Sure.
There's still going to be days where you're going to have your drink and your hot dog, but you can integrate this and just have the knowledge for on the days when you are playing in your club championship to be able to be a bit more serious about it when the time comes.
So when you talk about nutrition, are you specifically talking about when you're playing, or do you create a kind of overall nutrition?
We're talking about pre-round, post-round, and golf course nutrition.
Perfect.
Really. Yeah. I'm not trying to change everything about you.
I saw you at the McDonald's drive-thru on my way.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I'm gonna keep saying as many things as I can to get my voice in my golfers' heads, but I'm just here to make sure you play better golf, and then playing better golf is a happier life. So let's put those two pieces together.
So for those that are kind of the, human taxis, right, and are trying to get the kids somewhere, get to their golf league, right, get back in time, all that. Is there any tips for them? Like, hey, on the way over, right, make sure you do this, right? Drink water. I don't know, something.
While you're driving.
Don't go to the McDonald's drive.
Yeah, exactly. What do you want to do? Maybe if you're short on time, here are a couple quick things. Just make sure you keep this in mind.
Well, I would say when you get to the course, make sure that you walk around a little bit to get the blood flowing, because that's the first thing, even if it's not allowed, even if it's jogging in place for a few minutes. And definitely make sure you're drinking water on the way there. That's important. Also, depending on weather, and give yourself a couple 5-10 minutes to warm up. But for the guys that are, what did you call them? Taxi warriors?
Sure. I like that. Yeah.
For the taxi warriors, this isn't something that you can fix on your drive to the golf course. No. This is something that you need to take literally 10 to 15 minutes a day to maintain it. And that's what happens when you work with an expert, is we're able to essentially collapse time of all the years of trial and error that you've put in and tell you exactly what you need to do when you wake up in the morning in the shortest amount of time to get the biggest results. That's what we're here for. Wow. So you could, of course, go Google 1,000 things, but if you value your time because you're busy driving your kids around, you value the golf course, you value having expert guidance, then that's when you find yourself a coach who's going to just basically feed you the information that you need. You don't have to think about it. You just do it. And then on those days, you're not like, what can I possibly do while I'm driving with one arm to make my game better when I get there? You're already ready to go.
Exactly. Yeah. And I love it. And something too, Carrie, it's like, we invest a lot of money in our golf bag, right? Golf clubs. We're not putting well, so we buy a new $400 putter, right? I'm not
Correct.
driving it well, so I buy another $400 driver, right? And then we're spending thousands throughout the year, and you want to enjoy it more. I think it's worth the money to go in there and go to the right person and really get your mechanics and your stretching, your nutrition down.
Well, it's an investment in yourself and your golf game, but also your health and fitness in general too. So the results are far reaching, but sometimes when it's hard to get into the groove of fitness for some people.
Mhm.
So although I work with a lot of golfers who are already going to CrossFit and they're really have the routine down and we just need to tweak their workouts, for someone who's not doing anything, it's difficult to get started. And so golf is like that dangling carrot to jump into fitness in general. And sometimes guys lose 15 pounds without even trying because now they're thinking, I'm going to get better golf, but what they're really getting is better health.
Yeah, that's great. Holy cow. We all need it.
Everyone, absolutely. Yeah. And is there, so let's say I wanted to give Mark a little birthday present and I said, Mark, I got you a little session or two with Carrie. Typically, how long, as people are working with you before they can kind of see some results that they're like, oh, you know what? Are we talking weeks? Are we talking months? What's, do you typically see?
That's a really great question. And so in my framework that I've created in this online program, I see results. It's a 90-day program. My golfers typically tend to see results within the first 30 days. When you're working with me in this way, it eliminates the need to drive back and forth anywhere. So you can do it right from home, from a gym, from a hotel room. You're not locked into a specific appointment time. So you have a dentist appointment. You're like, oh, shoot, I can't come to my appointment this week. And you miss an entire week of workouts. We can get more workouts in per week in this format to condense the time that it takes to see results. And this is something I didn't even know was going to happen when I went into this virtual format. So I was surprised by it as well. But what used to take me 6 months to a year to do on in person. So we're driving, we're meeting, I'm on vacation, I'm not coming, I'm sick, I'm not coming. This can essentially be done in 90 days.
Oh, yeah.
So we're taking a year down to 90 days, which is crazy. But if you think about it logically, because you just have to do what I tell you within a week, that's it. And you can do it at home. You can do it if you're on the sidelines at your kid's soccer game. You can do it if you're visiting your mom's house, if you're on vacation in Bermuda, whatever the case may be. You don't have any reason to fall off track.
I think it's great. And we've got now, before the season, we've got about 90 days. First session's about 90 days. Second session's about, there's no excuse. Like, what an easy thing to do. I love this.
I make it very easy.
You do.
The hardest thing is just talking to me in the first place. And I'm nice.
Yeah, exactly. Check out the Instagram. She's very nice. Yeah. I love it. Well, that's great. Well, hey, Carrie, appreciate you being here. This is phenomenal. I think we need to show off your cool microphone and do a cheers.
All right.
You want to cheers with us?
Cheers.
So to health and golf. Cheers. All right, great. Been a great episode. Carrie, appreciate you. Christine, you asked all the right questions.
It's only because in my head I'm like, how can we help Mark?
That's what we did. How do we help Mark? Yeah.
Oh, it's funny. I'm like flirting with 40, and so I'm like, oh, and even just I'm reaching that age where I can just sleep wrong, and I wake up in the morning and I'm like, why can't I turn my head all the way? Why is my lower back doing what it's doing right now? So it's,
you know what, and it's weird because when your body does that, golf's like that too. So you'll have a great round. You're like, man, I felt great. Yeah, probably because, I was doing a lot of the right things. Mm-hmm. And then the next week, right, we're doing work. We're getting there 2 minutes before it starts. Our stretch is like whatever the gas pedal does in the cart, right? And you're like, why do I suck so bad today? What happened? I forgot how to golf, This is great. I can't wait to have that knowledge. It's like, man, it's like getting a master's degree in your nutrition and improving your golf. This is awesome.
It is. That's a good analogy. It's like getting a master's degree in golf fitness in 90 days.
That's it. Yeah. Accelerated executive program. Let's go. Well, good. All right, you guys. Well, hey, look Carrie up. I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. I know I've got a bunch of buddies who, I see you every week. I know you need this. So good. Yeah. All right. Awesome. Great having you, Carrie.
Thank you.
Bye.